Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between MC versus QIM's MVP. And hold on one second. Alright, hopefully I am a little bit louder this time. I know that there was a little bit of issues in terms of sound. And first thing I want to say about this replay is that I think it's old. There hasn't been that many tournaments as of late. I know for a fact that there hasn't been any new MLGs in a while, and yet this is played on the MLG version of the map with Red A and Red B, meaning that this could be part of an old MLG. Unfortunately, there's not that many replays out there right now, so it's kind of difficult to find high-level replays, and whenever you go across multiple sites, including some of the Asian ones, they do tend to sometimes pull or post up old replays as though they were new to try to have fresh content, and then I cast an old game. So hopefully I have not cast this game yet, as we see MC spawning as the red Protoss player at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, MVP spawning here as the blue Terran player at the 12 o'clock position. These players do not need any introductions. Both players are very well known in their own right. And one thing that I am going to be curious into watching is that if this is an older replay, what strategy are they going to use? Now, StarCraft does definitely have a metagame, strategies that rotate in and out, that are common and then start losing favor and then are common once more. We'll see what the strategy will be as MVP opening up opening up with a standard barracks refinery. So it's going to be a standard barracks refinery here. Meanwhile, MC opening up with that standard gateway assimilator, additional pylon warping in here. As soon as he does have 200 resources, he will be warping in a cybernetics core, as that is the standard MO. Now, SCB looks like it will be making its way out. A probe will be coming off over here, and we'll see where this probe really goes. The probe now just going to take a look around on the inside, and I know I've never seen that before. But then again, I know that they do often add their own words sometimes, or their own text to these players, as the probe now barely slips out and will be able to get away. SCV making its way across the map, not even bothering with the close by air spawns, perhaps knowing but based upon the timing where exactly MC is. SCV making its way in, takes a look around, sees a zealot, sees that the second gas has not been harvested, and now we need to figure out what MC's strategy will be. Harvester count 20 compared to 16. There is one mule in play though, so MVP currently with the advantage, but there are five harvesters on this gas, and now up to 6. That is looking really bad, as MVP is making up a critical mistake here. And now this definitely does feel like a game that I have cast, as he has the rally point just completely dumping into that refinery. That is going to be really bad news. He's going to be really low in terms of minerals for quite some time. You can see 18 harvesters, 19 harvesters, 23 versus 23. And out of those 19, 8 of them are on gas, and the same gas as that, as well. So we'll see what's going to happen here, as MVP is going to end up falling quickly behind, and I cannot imagine that MVP will be able to get back into this game with such a critical mistake. How can he not notice that there's SCVs? The saturation looks rather low, and mules are now being called into play as well, as he takes a look and now finally realizes SCVs going to be forced to call him over again, and then perhaps transfer 2 more SCVs back on the gas there. SCV looking to perhaps sneak its way in, unable to do so. MVP at 33 over 35 compared to MC's 32 over 34. There are additional production buildings though by MC, and that will definitely help him out, as MVP now getting up some more supply depots, and we'll see whether or not we are going to be going into a robotics facility. Stalker now attempting to back out. The MVP, the Marines, are trying to push their way across the map. The Stalker getting some easy damage, taking down 1 Marine. The Stalker just taking very superficial damage, only 3 hit points lost total, as we now see Marines and Marauders making the trek out. Stim is now being researched. Reactor on that first barracks. So this is going to be perhaps a 2-base or a 1-base timing bush off of 2 racks, getting up an additional factory now, as the army size, Terran much smaller at this stage. And if you take a look at the gas, 250 gas less, as we are now going into the factory and the refinery. Marines are now going to try to engage. This is not a good engagement here. The Marines are not going to be able to stim around, getting some easy shots onto one stalker, and now going to go after even more stalkers here. It's going to be a trade, and the stalkers will fall down, so it's now going to be just Marauders and Marines. Marines now trying to fight back over here. Looks like the stalker will get picked off here, as more damage is still being had. 3 stalkers versus more Marines, but in comes a new Marauder here, and MC just perhaps overstayed his welcome, losing a lot of units. And who came out ahead? Now it looks like MVP is overstaying his welcome, as the losses are dead even. MVP now needs to be careful. His opponent does have a natural expansion already up and running. Marines are across the side, and they will be scouted out by MC, activating that Zelnaga tower there. More Marines going to get taken out. Down it goes. We are going into the reactor Hellion. We are going to be going into that starport. You can see that there is the stim pack once again being researched. I could have sworn that the stim pack was researched some time ago. It may have been canceled, as we now see an observer make its way across the field. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I cast this game. I apologize once more. I won't make any more notes of it, as this game is underway. Starport now training up medevacs, and the observer will be able to gain sight here as a factory now makes its way out to the south. Stalkers and sentries are being added. MC pretty much sitting on a very large army now, 35 over 26 harvesters. Army composition much larger as well, 925 versus 850, as the observer now going to do a quick flyby to figure out what's going on the inside of this base. Marines and Marauders, no combat shield anytime soon. 1 medevac now being trained, and that medevac looks like it will end up catching up with the rest of this group here. MVP may need to pull off SCVs. He knows that he's behind. An all-in is the only way that I can imagine MVP actually catching up now at this stage. 29 harvesters compared to 41, especially as a warp prism is now making its way in and will be able to warp inside his base. Warp prism making its way out. 2 medevacs. Marines, stim not yet completed, still needs about another 30 seconds, and that is going to really hurt. No SCVs are being pulled. Double training medevacs once more, and the pylon does spot this, and now in comes an elevator drop of units. So you can see an Immortal now making its way, and the Immortal does not want to engage. No, it looks like it will engage, and now it needs to back off. The Marines are down here on the low ground. The Immortal getting off 1 easy shot, as the medevacs now unload even more units. Warp Prism, however, in position. MC should be able to just start sneaking in units in just a moment. Army compositions both sides with a lot of units, as a Zealot now makes its way inside the base. Zealot going to run around and be able to tear this up here, and now even the factory taking up a lot of damage. 1 Marauder trying to finish off this Zealot. More units need to be added, as we now see another elevator drop up onto the high ground. What is going to happen, as more units do need to back off? Going to be able to pick up all of those units, and no serious damage was dealt. Back over here, those Marauders and Marines, SCVs surrounding, taking down the Zealots. The Warp Prism is still off over here, and what is going to happen? The Warp Prism is going to back off, as MVP sitting at 61. Meanwhile, OGS's SKMC sitting at 92. So food count very, very heavy in favor of MC, as MC now pushes out with his army. Immortals, Stalkers, and Zealots, and it looks like it's going to be a drop up onto the high ground. Is it going to be enough? No, it doesn't look like it. The Marines and the Marauders are now need to be once again unloaded, as the Marines now need to be careful. 1 Marine, 2 Marine getting taken down. Factory now taking a lot of hit points, as in comes the SCVs. SCVs need to lead the way, but there are too many force fields now. As what is going to happen, the Marines are trying to stim their way across. SCVs are going to engage. Is it going to be enough? SCVs now filing down. Both sides engaging. Immortals are turning around and attacking. SCVs absorbing a lot of that damage. Immortals really bursting that damage against all of those Marauders, as the Immortals are even in terms of range, and there is the GG. So MVP losing game 1 here on Tal'Darim, or not Tal'Darim Altar, Shattered Temple. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.